Globalization. 10 years ago, this term was only known to specialists. Today, it strikes fear into some, while others think it's a panacea for the world's problems. But what does it really mean? In a nutshell, it is a new level of integration of economy, societies, and culture. A new interdependent world. Whether it's good or bad, at its center are people and their interaction with their neighbors. What does globalization mean for the economy? Here's a simple example. The cup of coffee you drink in the morning is the result of the cooperation of 29 companies in 18 countries. What about the car you drive? In the end, the world has evolved into a big factory which works for everyone. There are new leaders and new centers of growth. The East, which seemed to lag behind the industrialized West in the 20th century, is catching up quickly, turning into the world's factory. In the 21st century, the globe's main financial hubs are aligning into a new geopolitical triangle: North America, Europe, Southeast Asia. So you could say it's come full circle, back to its origins. For in fact hundreds of years until the Age of Discovery, the East was successfully trading and exchanging knowledge with Europe. Although the caravans of the past were slow, it was known the trade routes were under the protection of the great Tamerlane himself. Death was in store for anyone who dared to attack the traders. The 20th century has marked a new interest in the revival of the Great Silk Road. On this subject, there have been dozens of international conferences and intensive research. It is agreed that today, rejuvenating it is not only possible, it's vitally important. The next step is most important: to move from words to actions, to business. And we know how to do that. The new Eurasian Land Transport Initiative. The goal? To deliver goods from Asia to Europe and back using the shortest and most efficient route possible. How are things today by sea? The problem concerns infrastructure. Huge container ships, these floating cities, are getting increasingly harder to service in shipping ports. There is another way, by railroad. There are other problems here. A complex tariff system and technical problems prevent the full use of the Trans-Siberian Railway, which is not that high, over 300,000 TEU per year at maximum load. Of course, plane transportation is possible, but really expensive. We want to make it clear, our option is not as cheap as sea travel and not as fast as air transport. Still, we're convinced it will be an attractive alternative for many expensive classes of goods. Goods produced in central China and South Korea are transported by railway to Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region in northwestern China. We're just short of Urumqi. They are separated into two streams, to Dostuk in the north and Kashgar in the south. Routes. We then select 3 routes. Each one follows the ancient caravan routes: the northern, the central, and the southern. On September the 16th, 12 road trains from 6 countries in Asia and Europe started out from Tashkent along these 3 directions. Let's take a brief look at the routes and the companies. The northern direction is represented by companies from Russia, Ukraine, Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, which transport cargo along the 2 main routes. These have a combined length of 6.5 kilometers. The type of cargo ranges from food and garments sent to the west to medical supplies and diplomatic cargo sent to the east. A one-way delivery takes up to 10 to 12 days. The central direction's key feature is the way it can do mixed shipments. Mixed shipments including sea transportation across the Caspian Sea and, at a later stage, across the Black Sea. At the moment, the service is only provided by 2 Uzbekistan-based companies which ship consumer goods in both directions. It's likely that in the near future, after the highway connecting Kashgar in West China, Osh in Kyrgyzstan and Andijan in Uzbekistan is opened in 2009, that this traffic flow will significantly expand thanks to Chinese goods and probably to Central Asian cotton. On average, a one-way transportation takes up to 12 to 13 days, including ferry shipment. And finally, the southern direction is represented by companies from Kyrgyzstan, Iran and Turkey, transporting cargo to areas south of the Caspian Sea. They ship seasonal agricultural products to Turkey and Iran and bring back car parts, plastics and consumer goods. On average, a one-way transportation takes up to 12 to 13 days. Monitoring. Together with the leading world specialists, we've developed a method which provides an objective overview of the road situation. This includes infrastructure, border crossings, and levels of bureaucracy. Drivers are asked to make daily notes and diaries, which are then compiled, summed up, and posted on a special website. Even today, the site provides first-hand, real-time information updates on the situation at each of the 8 routes. We've also set up a special National Coordination Centre in each of the countries to help our drivers. They include representatives from such important services as transport, customs and police, whose task is to provide hotline support to people taking part in the project in the event of any force majeure circumstances. In spring 2009, we plan to start analysing the compiled data on all the routes and come up with recommendations for national governments and international organisations. These will be outlined in Almaty in June 2009 at the 5th European-Asian Conference. There's one conclusion we can make today, though. The main obstacle on the cargo routes along the Silk Road is bureaucracy and red tape. Solving these problems doesn't require multi-million-dollar investment. It only needs a clear political will. So what's next? We are optimistic, and we believe that this tiny stream will soon grow into a mighty river of cargo and people. It will revive the region's economies and promote their further integration. There are no landlocked countries for road transport. All of them, big and small, are land connected. In fact, it's always easier to build the economy and face challenges together.
After the successful launch of the IRU NELTI initiative in Tashkent a few days ago, allow me from Bukhara, the city also called the fascination of gold, to present my sincere wish to transform this new initiative into a new success story for the IRU. Why from Bukhara? Bukhara was always at the crossroads of the trade between China, India and Europe. Bukhara was also the main city on the great ancient Silk Road. Bukhara has always been the center of the trade and cultural exchange. Bukhara is really the city which represents most of the exchange of trade and successful relationship between people of different civilizations. This is the reason why, from here, I wish all the best, not only to the IRU NELTI initiative, but also for a prosperous exchange of trade and trade development between all the continent and forever.
As Martin Marmy, IRU Secretary General, said, the NELTI project is just the start. The world will never be as before, for these trucks will be circulating forever. I hope that they will be carrying not only trade, but also peace. Because where trucks circulate, there is trade, and where there is trade, we have an improvement of a general quality of life. When people are living well, we do not have any wars. It's worth working for.